Entrepreneurial Works, formerly Chester Micro Enterprise, has been assisting small business owners in the city of Chester for nearly 10 years. Mayor John Linder has determined that Chester will become an entrepreneurial hub, so we expect that the city funding support for Entrepreneurial Works will continue. Despite being a Philadelphia corporation, Entrepreneurial Works has set up shop here in Chester with offices and classes. The highlight of their classes is the Business Skills course, a 7-week course taught by this man exclusively, Ivy Ibrahim. In Chester, the offices and classes are held at the beautiful University Technology Park on 14th and Edgemont. Despite their long relationship here in Chester, there's still many of you who don't know what they do. I sat down with Ivy and asked him, what is the advantages for new business owners?
If you just have an idea and you're coming in, it can bring clarity and focus to the idea and help you determine in terms of how feasible that idea is. So we like to say that you can do your due diligence here in class. You can determine whether it's feasible, whether it's going to be something that you really want to do, whether it's a whole viable thing. So you have the ability to think through all of that and do that here in class, as opposed to spending your time and your money to find out that maybe it wasn't really what you wanted to do, or you didn't really have the resources to do it. So even if you know what you're trying to do, it's the same kind of thing. We go through that whole process. So being able to do your due diligence, you know what it is. You're going to find out what kind of resources it's going to take to do it. Do you have the resources and the skill to make it happen? And if you do, and you're able to see that, then you're going to put a business plan in place with all the things in terms of the core elements of what you need to do to make it happen. That's going to be your plan. It's going to be a plan of action for you, a management tool for you to be able to use to go out there and make your dreams come true.
The business skills class isn't just for people who want to start a business, but if you already have a business and think you need a little help, let's hear Ivy.
This class for those people then can really make them take stock of their core business skills and the elements that they're really performing in their business, which a lot of times gets into how well is my marketing being done. You know, so it's going to make you think about marketing. A lot of times we get caught up in the day-to-day activities that we might not look at all the core elements of marketing that needs to be done in our business. How well am I managing in terms of doing my sales projections and my cash flow projections and everything, and making sure that I'm on top of that and looking at all those different expenses and revenue projection things and using that as a management tool also in my planning. So it makes the whole planning effort and the execution of their plans and growing their business a lot better. Gets them back focused on the fundamentals.
Once you complete the course, the relationship is not over in Entrepreneurial Works. In fact, it just starts. They offer small businesses a little help in terms of business loans from $500 to $25,000. Graduates of these classes are also encouraged by Entrepreneurial Works to form peer lending groups. Usually it's people from your own class who decide to get together in a group of 4 to 8. They meet regularly to share ideas, network, and build individual business skills. But the biggest highlight of a peer group is that the members have access to business loans without being limited by prior credit history, type of businesses, or availability of collateral. Your peer group is its own loan approval committee, and the money is made available by Entrepreneurial Works. It don't get no better than this. I facilitate the peer groups here in Chester, and last night, Chester's peer group needed a little refresher on cash flow. So they invited Ivy back. Here's an inside glimpse of how it went.
Cash flow. Generally, from the standpoint of doing one, I'm going to talk about my approach and everything, because I guess everyone here know what it is. There's no need of spending a whole lot of time on that. I'm going to talk about the approach to doing one. Make sure that each month, in terms of doing a cash flow projection, that you look at doing your business expenses. Let's go back here. I got cash on hand, beginning cash. How much am I going to start out with? In this example, I'm going to just put a 0. Just for projection purposes. Because I know what I have in my pocket. I know what I have in the bank. I know what mine is. But just for projection purposes, I can always add that number in here whenever I get ready. So I might have to spend $1,000 just to get the business ready to do business first. So I may not have any revenue coming in the first month, second month, or whatever. So it's a zero. So if I got zero on hand, zero coming in, I spend out $1,000. That means my ending cash is what?
Negative 1,000.
Negative 1,000. My ending cash becomes my beginning cash for the following period. When you deal with a product, you have the selling price, you have the cost of goods, and then you have what's called the gross profit. I find the gross profit margin by dividing my $6 divided by the $10, which equals 60%.
Right. But that's only for, this is only for products when you're talking about that.
I'm talking about profit.
Okay.
When you got a service, basically you don't have any cost of goods. All of that revenue, I said basically, basically, you know, in a sense that if I do paralegal service, then all of that revenue that I get goes toward covering all of my operating expenses.
Okay, got you.
You see, so all of my expenses in that kind of business are business expenses that are listed under my operating expenses and, of course, my owner's draw.
Okay.
So all that money just goes to cover that. I don't have to take out any variable costs. All right? So now, so the highest deficit is $2,500 in this example.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's see if we can get this thing right.
Okay.
When I do my cash flow projection, even though I was running, now it showed me that, hey, you're losing money, something wrong with that picture. I know how much money minimally I need. I got to have at least $2,500 on hand or go out and get me $2,500 from somewhere to cash flow my business. It's the business. But what I really want to look at when I'm doing my cash flow projections also is, what is the viability of this business? Do I ever see a point that this business is going to be making some money and making enough money that it makes it worthwhile for me to go through all this? So at some points I want to see sales going and money coming to me that is looking good. If I'm doing a sales projection but I can't never see that, then I have to really say, is this really something worth doing? Is it something that's viable? Yeah. I can see just making it, but if I can't really see no real money in it, then I might want to consider that. Is this worth the time and effort and the resources that I have to put into it? And those are some of the things that doing a cash flow projection can tell you. So I don't want to go out here and just borrow some money just to get it going, just for me to be working all day and night for a little bit of money.
Right.
You see, so this cash flow projection at some point needs to show me that that it's worthwhile, there's enough money in it, that my owner's draw is significant enough that it's going to allow me to live the kind of lifestyle that I want to live and pay the bills and those kind of things. So.
And you don't have to be a Chester resident to take advantage of Chester Entrepreneur Works. Just call Antoinette Tony Trueheart or check out myentrepreneur.works.com or hit the link on the right side of the blog. Come on, let's start a business.